You're listening to Time to Talk. I'm Tim Power. Well, if you're here, you're probably a big fan of the Golden Girls, and as a fan of the Golden Girls, there's almost no question that you are a huge fan of one particular episode, Blanche's Little Girl. It's an absolute fan favourite. It's very inappropriate in this day and age, isn't it? Every fat joke in the world is crammed into a 23-minute episode or thereabouts. And of course, what makes the episode fantastic is the writing and the performances. And we are about to talk to Sean Sheps, who played Blanche's daughter, Becky, the former model who turns up on the doorstep of the Miami home looking larger than she had the last time her mother saw her. And she's also eventually joined by a nasty boyfriend who we all love to hate. Isn't he awful? I know the actor's meant to be some nice guy. I just can't believe it. He's an awful, awful little man. So settle in, enjoy our chat with Sean. Please leave us some feedback too. We love getting your audio messages. Just take out that phone, press record us a couple of minutes and send it to timetotalkaustralia@outlook.com. Sean would love to hear your feedback too. Now, although Sean is an absolute bundle of joy, we had to start by talking about the Israeli-Hamas conflict. As a Jewish person, Sean is heartbroken by the conflict and is feeling the repercussions all the way over in the United States. Hey, you were saying in text that it's a really hard time to be a Jewish person at the moment on this planet Earth.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, tell me about that. You're obviously feeling a lot of passion, a lot of concern.
Well, anti-Semitism is up. Look, I feel for the Palestinians that are citizens that are, in this war. But Hamas walked into a sovereign nation and killed families and children and raped people and, they started a war. How do you not expect a country like Israel that is born from Holocaust to not come after you? So, I made a decision on the 7th of October because my dad passed, but when he passed, I was holding a Jewish star, and I'm not religious, between my hand and my dad's hand, and I was butchering some Jewish prayers, and he passed. And I wear it now all the time. First of all, because I feel like he's with me, and second of all, because I feel like I have to represent.
You were close to your dad?
Yeah. And, I was doing postings on Instagram, but my sister was like, "Oh my God, Sean, stop doing that." That's a Valley accent.
But why? Is she concerned that there's repercussions for you?
Yeah, she is.
This conflict, has it rippled on to, the Jewish community in the United States in the sense of anti-Jewish sentiment?
Yeah, it has.
You feel it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, these kids in universities are, they are having pro-Palestinian marches, and Israel's the bad guy, and Palestine is the underdog, and Israel stole land from Palestine, but that's not how it happened. This is just my opinion. It's probably not popular. But when the Jews got to Israel, they set it up to be a proper city. And the Palestinians voted for Hamas as a government. They don't care about the Palestinians. They only care about killing Jews. That's what they care about.
As a creator, though, you rely on humour a lot. It's a theme throughout your work, isn't it, Sean? Humour, comedy, working with people who are in comedy. Is it getting harder and harder to maintain a sense of humor given the world we're in at the moment?
No, because if you don't have gallows humor, then y- you're gonna like get really depressed. So I've always had gallows humor about society, my family, just everything, you know? And sometimes the comedy is just straight out comedy, and sometimes the comedy is dark comedy. And I would like to say, in a mercenary moment, I am trying to get a hold of Catherine McMillan, who owns the rights to an Australian show that is brilliant, that is called Aftertaste. And if anyone knows Catherine or knows of her or is in her family, please ask her to call Jeff in Los Angeles. Thank you.
I'll ask around for you. Catherine McMillan, who wrote Aftertaste, is that right?
No, she has the
Oh,
rights.
she has the rights to it,
I
and you
want
want
to
to produce
bring
it.
no, I want to bring it over here and make it an American show
Really?
for an American audience. Yeah,
Come on, Catherine, wherever you are and whoever you are, get in touch.
yeah. Come on, Catherine. Let's go. Let's do this thing. I don't think she understands how passionate I am about
There's
this.
Catherine now.
There's Catherine. Hello,
Thank you. She's
Catherine.
listening.
Hello.
Give us those rights.
Sorry, I didn't turn my phone off.
We're here to talk about your work in the entertainment industry, Sean, and in particular, the listeners of this podcast know that we're big fans of the Golden Girls. But can I tell you something that's completely unrelated before we go any further? I need to tell
Sure.
someone over
Sure.
here at 7 a.m. So you just happen to be the poor sucker who I'm the first person I'm talking to for the day. Well, yesterday, landed in a little shop, and I don't even know how. And this will be familiar to nearly everyone, but I had no idea. I walked in and they're pointing to a bath and they're telling me to get in the bath. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then when you finish, when the bubbles go off, put on that robe and come out here. And this is not familiar territory to me at all. Anyway, they took my feet eventually and they exfoliated it with some, I don't know, a concrete. It felt like it wasn't particularly pleasant. But as I'm talking to you, and I'm sorry if this is too much information, I can't stop touching my feet. I've never had such soft feet in my whole life. It's
Well,
beautiful.
Jameson, you didn't go to a store. You went to a spa.
The word was in the title. It was called a spa. Yes, but I didn't know. Well, it sounds really silly, but I didn't know it meant there was a spa in there. There literally was a spa, like a jacuzzi. That's what I got in. I haven't
I
had a
mean,
jacuzzi
you
since I
have
was a
to think
child.
you got in a jacuzzi. I mean, or else they were trying to kidnap you. Getting you at your most vulnerable point. No, you were in a spa.
Yeah, I was. And I was really like, they just thought I was very strange because every time they asked me to move to the left or move to the right or come into this room or move into that room, I was like, really, like, are you sure that in there? But, and they brought me little fruit and they brought me champagne. It was quite exciting. I just didn't know what I was up for. So I was very confused, especially when the first thing they ask you to do is take off all your clothes and get in the bath. I'm
Yeah,
like, what, you want me to have a
exactly.
bath?
Well,
What are you talking about?
did they put hot wax on your feet and wrap it up in uh paper?
Oh God, no! What the hell is that? That
Oh,
sounds
it's
awful.
just no, it's
Hot
not.
wax and they wrap it in paper.
It's not that hot.
What the devil
But
are you talking about?
they wrap baggies. They wrap it in baggies. But
No,
it's not that hot. It just makes you super super soft.
sounds like somebody's making a roast. Oh my goodness, no! Take us back, Sean. I know that you've had like you were a child actor. You were in the Brady Bunch. You were in this episode that a lot of fans like me like. I think it was the one, wasn't it, where Bobby was the hall monitor?
Yeah.
Brady Bunch fans love that episode. What was your part in the Brady Bunch?
Well, I walked on the set and I was stunned that it was a set and not a house. I was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Where's the house?" To my, 9-year-old self. It was pretty crushing.
Because you'd been watching the TV show, had you?
Of course. Yeah, I was right in the demographic there.
I think you were on series 3. You had to get quite outraged, I think. You had to get quite upset
I
as part of
was
your character.
really bummed out. I was in shock. I didn't understand. Where was the house? Where was the house?
Such a disappointment. Like finding out that the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus isn't real.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, you poor thing. Did you meet the whole cast?
Mm, no, I just work with I believe I just worked with the kid who played Bobby, but such a nice guy. And then we have this thing here. It's called the Hollywood Parade.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically cars driving down Hollywood and a parade before like Christmas. And so he was going to be in it and asked if I wanted to be in it with him. And I did. And it's just a once in a lifetime thing to be sitting next to the star of Brady Bunch, waving at people that have no idea who you are.
Is that Cindy? Was that Cindy?
Yeah. Marsha.
And I know you've had an extensive career, but is it fair to say that most people recognize you and ask you about that one singular episode of The Golden Girls? Is that what you're most recognized for?
And Terminator.
Of course.
Pretty equally. Now, let's not say that I go into a restaurant or a club and people, gather around me. It's sort of random. I was in a coffee shop once and I was at a booth and I was talking to my friend, and this guy turned around and he said, he was behind me. And he said, "Were you on the Golden Girls?" And I said, "Yeah." What, how could you? He said, "Your voice. I could tell by your voice." And I was like, "Whoa, cool."
You do have a great distinctive voice. I reckon I could do that if I met you out and about and heard you ordering, a large latte, cappuccino, frappe, whatever. I reckon I'd say, that's the lady from the Golden Girls. You were fantastic in that episode, Sean. You really were. I mean, you're obviously a great actress. I've went and done a little bit of a mini deep dive over the past few days. I came across this thing called Hell's Bells. My God, what the devil was that about, by the way? Oh my God. Didn't know what I was watching. You were sniffing pairs of underwear, Sean.
uh, that's a really good question. I don't know. I don't remember.
The life of an actress, everybody. Sean you made 3 people take off their underwear, hand them
Oh,
to you.
no, no, no. Okay, 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 okay.
Oh, now it's
Okay, I
dawning on
got
you
it.
now.
I got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was teaching uh screenplay writing and TV writing and webisode writing to the master's program in North Carolina. They have this like fancy schmancy school there. I went there to teach for 2 semesters, and this poor girl had to like make this short in a day, or else she wasn't the teacher, who I really thought this was unfair of him, said she wasn't going to graduate.
Oh.
So we all chipped in to make sure she graduated.
Well, you certainly did your part.
Yeah, I did.
I was like, this can't possibly be my friend from the Golden Girls doing this.
You
Tongue
know,
in cheek, by the way. It was quite funny. But I mean, yeah, I was surprised as the scene progressed. Like, what is going on here? It looked like there was a rape about to happen.
I
It was,
know. I mean, one
ugh.
of the students wrote it, and I didn't direct it, even though my name was on there. I don't know why. It was directed by everyone. Yeah, that's what that was.
You auditioned for the part of Becky, right? In the Golden Girls?
Yes. And I have to say, I maybe I read for a casting director and then I get sent for a callback to read for the producers, and they were happy and they liked it and told me they were going to put me in a fat suit. And I was cool with that because it was money. Because I was in my 20s and I was broke. So to me, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be on the Golden Girls. It was like, I'm getting paid.
Do you remember that time when you first walked onto set and met the cast? As I understand it, you somehow knew Estelle. You hadn't met the other ladies. I mean, that must have been intimidating to walk onto a set like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I knew Estelle because she was with my managers. And I have to say, it was the most organized, cleanest, easiest set. These women were pros. And there was no drama. They just did their thing. And Rue McClanahan and I would, run lines. And she invited me over to her house because she wanted to write a movie. I wasn't writing then. So I don't know why she thought I was good. But she was just this lovely sort of gypsy character.
What I've been told in the past is that it was a professional set. It was all about the work, not about the ego. I was told that the ladies themselves, but not only the ladies, but the whole production team were all lovely to work with. But of the ladies, I was told that sometimes B. Arthur could appear to be standoffish, but not because she was rude, but because she was shy. What was your relationship like with each one of the core cast?
Well, I would say that I didn't think B. Arthur was standoffish. I thought she was professional.
Uh huh.
And so, maybe someone could, she was like, learned her lines, hit her marks, did the rehearsal, did her job. And so maybe someone or certain people came on set and felt like she wasn't like kissy huggy, but
Yeah.
she was doing her job. And then Betty White was just so sweet and lovely and doing her job. And and Rue I had a closer relationship with. But again, we were all doing a job, It was a very professional set. And you don't get that all the time.
In the Golden Girls book that I read, I heard that they shoot it once, maybe in front of a live audience, and then again without one. How did it work? How did you get it shot?
Um they do shoot in front of a live audience, and then if they shoot after, it's called pickups.
Right.
Certain things that the director, who had also been there forever, um, and had horses. I remember that about him. Um, stuff he didn't think he may have gotten. He would do pickups.
The main shoot was in front of a live audience. How was
Yeah.
that for you? Because already you've been through a hell of a thing. I know that you've described excellently this life of you're just an actor, you need a paycheck, it's work, you're auditioning, auditioning, auditioning. But with this one, you go for the audition, you get a call back, then you're on the set. You obviously have a table read, you've learnt your lines. How much effort did you put onto it and into it? And I'm also curious, what was it like shooting in front of a live audience? I would have thought that was very nerve wracking.
It was, you get nervous at first, but then you get on set and you're fine.
Right.
But once you walk on that set and everybody's talking to each other and doing their lines and hitting their marks and all of that, all that jittery feeling goes away. And you just feel like you're home.
I know it was a long time ago and you might not remember, but do you remember that audience giving you that confirmation that this was a good script that you were part of? Like, were you getting big laughs? Could you feel the warmth and the affection and the engagement from the audience?
Yes, but my goal was to continue on. And what you did with an audience was you played the laugh.
Right.
So the laugh is like a wave. So you don't say your next line at the higher point of the wave. You say your next line as the wave is descending. Um, I also felt really bad for the guy who played my boyfriend.
Oh, wasn't he a jerk? I'm sure he
He's
wasn't in real life, but what a jerk.
so sweet and
Really?
sensitive. Yeah, look, they were doing a show about a character who was fat, and he had some pretty harsh lines, and he was really sensitive about it. Yeah, he was lovely.
Why did you feel sorry for him? Were the audience booing him or something like
Well,
that?
kind of. Yeah, they were kind of like "Rrr," groaning, you know.
Well, he had some hideous lines. In fact, can I just let's have a listen to one of them.
Jeremy, as long as you're handing out compliments, you haven't said anything about my new outfit. You know, that's not very nice.
Well, I'm trying to be nice. That's why I didn't say anything.
And that's not even one of the worst lines, Sean.
Yeah.
Terrible lines he was saying.
Well, it was the conceit of the show. And, more of a possible struggle for him to have to say those lines than for me to have to say mine.
Well, he delivered them beautifully. He was very believable. I know that he was in some other shows too, which are well known over there, so he must be a great actor. But in the Golden Girls community, he is one of the villains, one of the ones we love to hate.
I know. I went to my first and only Golden Girls Con
Oh,
in
yeah?
Chicago last year. Yeah,
Okay.
where all the fans go and you meet them, and they put you up in a hotel, and you fly first class, and
Wow.
it was like the most amazing experience. It was just this outpouring of love. I mean, the people that were there, all they wanted to do was say hi, get a picture with you.
Yeah.
So sweet, so kind, so fun, so many drag queens, so funny. And it was just a wonderful weekend.
And it must be strange, like you say, one small job you did so long ago held in such high esteem. And I'm sure that you would have sensed it from that event that you attended. There's such comfort in the Golden Girls for a lot of people. Comfort, literally. These ladies, these characters, including yourself, are part of people's lives. You help them get to sleep. You help them through illness. You help them through tragedy.
I know. I mean, I don't know because I actually don't really watch stuff that I've acted in.
Mm.
So I'm a step away from it. But I do know that I've met people who start crying when they met me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know I have an understanding that I guess like this show, The Brady Bunch and Terminator, like I don't know how I ended up in those things. But again, they became part of the lexicon. I lucked out. That's all. I lucked out.
So let's go back to that episode. There's controversy, and I know you would have heard this before. I'm positive you would have heard it before. The fan community talk about the hypocrisy of, well, first of all, the wall-to-wall fat jokes. Would that pass in this day and age? Who knows? But even at the time, the Golden Girls themselves, with the exception of Dorothy, made horrendous jokes at Becky's expense for her weight. Yet when Jeremy walks in and does the same, the audience, the Golden Girls, were all meant to turn on him. Yet they were doing the same. Have you heard that controversy before?
Well, I think my guess would be that because they were the Golden Girls, because I played Blanche's daughter, it was an all in the family kind of thing
Yeah.
where you could shoot off about your family. But
Mm.
when Jeremy came in, that wasn't okay. I do not think you could make that episode now.
Oh, no.
I don't.
No way. Oh,
It
you'd be
was
cancelled before you even, before it finished airing.
it was a different time.
I hear your point about the characters been able to say those things because she was part of the family by way of being Blanche's daughter, I feel like they escaped the criticism that Jeremy did because they were women, not men.
Well, I think you could absolutely be right. And I think that that kind of fat shaming was happening. And I think people have sort of grown up and understood that it's not okay.
Let's just have a listen, though, to what some of the Golden Girls said to Becky on that episode.
You're Blanche's daughter, the model. What did she model? Car covers?
You'll have to forgive my mother.
It's just that we didn't expect you to be this fat.
Yeah.
So, Becky, what brings you to Miami? My guess is a small barge. Tell me all about Paris. Where'd you live? Where'd you work? Where'd you find jeans that size? Sophia?
No, Mama, it's okay. I may have lost my figure, but I still have my sense of humor.
Sean, even
Yeah.
listening back, wall to wall, fat jokes.
Yeah, well, you
It's
know
terrible.
what? They're easy. They're easy.
They're easy,
Fat
but why
jokes
do I
are
find it so
easy.
funny, though? Why? Is it
Because
wrong of me?
They're funny.
Yeah.
The women are funny, and the way they, deliver lines is funny. And, back in the day and even now, like with humor, if you got dirty with your humor, they would say, well, that's an easy way to go. Or if you told fat jokes, that's an easy way to go. We have a comedian here named Bill Maher, and he does a show once a week about politics. And he is always dissing fat people. And it's like, Bill, you've never had the problem. You don't know what goes into it. Now, maybe if you stopped smoking weed for a second, you'd be able to think about it. And I'm always yelling at the TV at Bill.
You were padded up, as I
Yeah,
understand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it literally foam, or like I don't understand, what do they do to pad you up?
It's like they sew certain pieces of something to put over your butt, your stomach, your boobs, and it's hot.
Ooh, right.
It's very hot.
Do you remember any of the dialogue that you delivered, like as standout to you? Was there any, as an actress, was there any piece of dialogue that you went, oh, this is delicious. I love getting myself into this part?
You know what? I'd love to say that I remember, but it was too long ago.
That's
I remember
okay.
sitting on the bed with Rue and or Blanche, and having a discussion with her about, she didn't like the boyfriend, go out, do what you want to do, don't let anyone hold you back. I thought that was a nice scene. But Mom is always right.
Mama's always right. You
And
adopted
then-
also a different accent for this role too.
Yeah, I was Southern. I mean, I adopted a Southern accent. I mean, I can do it. It's just something you have in your arsenal.
Oh, I love listening to that. Do more
I
of
know.
that. Say more of it. You're getting me all goosebumped up here.
All right, I'm looking for Catherine McMillan. And she has the rights to a show called Heartburn. And I want to take the show and bring it to an American audience. But she and Jeff have to talk to each other. So if there's anybody out there who knows Catherine McMillan, the woman who has the rights to Aftertaste, please have her call Jeff.
Catherine's the third guest in this podcast. Poor old Catherine. Catherine McMillan, we're still looking for you. I think you did try to call.
Where are you? Where are you?
Where are you? You never know. I will ask around. I'll ask around. I like saying that. There's only like 25 million people in Australia, so
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll be able to find it for you. Um, I know for a fact that people who guest star on TV shows don't get paid particularly well. Do you mind me asking how much you did get paid for that role on The Golden Girls?
Again, I don't remember. I'm sure it was somewhere a little bit above uh SAG. Um,
Is it enough to not work for the rest of a year?
oh God, no.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, no, you have to do a bunch of them.
Right.
Uh, Almost like a full-time job in order to not work for the rest of the year. The people who get the bank are the regulars.
Oh, God, yeah. I remember reading what they were on by series 5 or 6 per episode. Amazing stuff. But, like, I don't know, do you get paid a couple of thousand as a guest star?
No more. I mean, in the tens of thousands,
Uh-huh.
but then you have like your managers, they get 10%, your agents, they get 10%, the government, they get 40%, and then a business manager, he gets 5%.
That's such a visual. And then at the end, you're excitedly waiting for your check and you're
I've got
quite disappointed.
$5.
Exactly. Do you get residuals?
Yeah, I do. I do. But the residuals I get for writing are much more helpful than any Screen Actors Guild residuals, which, come in tops $25 at this point.
How often?
Every quarter.
Oh my God, seriously?
Yeah. So,
See, we've busted a big myth here, right? So Sean can't retire on the character of Becky for the rest of her life, as a lot of people
oh,
believe.
God, no. No.
Oh
No.
dear. And of course, you participated in writing Encino Man. Did you write the whole thing, or were you co-writing it, or
I
part
wrote
of a
it.
staff?
I
You
wrote it.
wrote it.
Yeah.
I thought you did, Sean. Yeah. Encino
Yeah.
Man, for those that don't remember, this is Brendan Fraser. Was Paulie Shaw in that too? I think he
He
was.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a big movie here in Australia. One of those, I don't know, it seemed to be in that era of that sort of film with Jim Carrey and a lot of comedians doing that style at the time. How was it writing Encino Man?
Um, you know what? It was fun. I mean, that's broad comedy, and there was a lot of broad comedy around that. Um, it was interesting. It was the first movie I'd ever written. I was learning on the job because I didn't go to university. Um, but like Polly was the younger brother I never had that was so annoying. And still is.
I'm not going to lie, he comes across that way. He actually had a little fling with one of this podcast's favourite people in the world, Kylie Minogue. He had a
Oh,
very brief affair on the set of Biodome.
oh, okay.
Yes, and then she
Um,
ghosted him. And he still, every now and then, sings out, Kylie, please get back in touch.
you know what? He's a really good guy. I mean, with all the teasing and stuff, he's just fooling around.
So, as a writer of Encino Man, then when they're creating it, when they're making it, when they're shooting it, you're there at every step.
No,
Oh, you're not? Okay.
no, 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 Encino Man. As a matter of fact, I came on the set one day, and the first AD told me to get off the set, and I
Did
said,
you
"But
say, don't you know who I am?
But I'm the writer." And he was
Goodness.
like, "Oh, okay. Well, go sit over there." I'm like, "All right, Jesus, come on, dude." I mean, things can go horribly right like that. And then I wrote and directed a movie that I had developed up at Sundance, and it was called Well, it was called Cat and Allison Are Having a Bad Day, but the distributors changed it to, I think, You and I. And my producer, who had the money, had never made a film before, was 25, a crackhead, was drinking GHB out of a water bottle, and myself and the first assistant director, before every day, would rip pages out of my script so we could
Oh
get
dear.
finished in time. She used that project as a way to act out with her parents.
So the finished
So
product was not so great, I'm guessing.
I don't think it was, no.
What is
Um,
it like, Sean, when you've written something like Encino Man or that project, and you also had a hand in writing Son-in-Law, correct?
yeah.
Yeah. So when you finish writing it, and I know the process of writing. There's a lot of labor. People have no idea the attention that goes into the sequence of words and editing of words, and there's a lot of effort. When you see it up on the big screen, is it a strange experience to see how your writing has been interpreted?
Well, with Son-in-Law, I went with my dad and my stepmom, but I didn't want to see it. So I booked out of there pretty early and sat in the lobby. And then my dad came out and he said, "Come back in. It's getting better."
It's
And I'm
that's
like,
the
no,
ultimate compliment.
no, Dad. So I never saw Son-in-Law.
So hang on, I've got to get this clear. Because there's a bit of a pattern here, Sean, of you not liking to watch yourself or your own work. But in this particular instance with Son-in-Law, did you walk out because you were really unhappy with what you were watching, or did you walk out because it was too much just to
I,
have been involved in it?
no, I walked out because of the political history that went on behind it.
Ah, okay. So when we're watching it as a viewer, we're seeing the story, but you're remembering and recalling. Okay, this was also Paulie Shaw's big attempt to try to cross over from
Yeah.
what we call here in Australia from larrikin to serious actor. Let's just have a listen to what he had to say.
I don't know. I mean, it's a big step up for me. I've always been the loser sidekick in everything I've done, and this is it's a movie that I think is going to appeal to everyone because I toned down the shtick that people know me from on MTV. There's been a lot of screenings, and in the feedback's been, I didn't like him at first, but after I saw this movie, there's a lot more to him than just that weasel thing. Shtick can't last forever. I don't want to be on the Hollywood squares in 30 years in between Bud Bundy and Alf,
Look, you know what? He's a really good actor. And he's got this project he's doing now based on someone's life that you would never imagine in a million years Paulie would be doing. And
Oh, that's the exercise guru.
yes,
What's his name again?
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons. Yes.
So I saw this little short film that they shot. I was very happy for him. I've gone to some of his readings where he's written, scripts or plays, and he did a good job. Like, if he commits to this thing like 100%, like Jim Carrey Man on the Moon commits, he's gonna kill it.
Well, you clearly think he's got the talent, which is great. What went on behind the scenes of Son-in-Law? What left that unpleasant taste in your mouth? You said politics.
Yeah, it was.
You weren't kicked off that set too, were you?
Well, kind of.
Really?
I mean, it was about friends betraying friends. So I had written this play. It had gone to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and I was really close with a couple of people in the play. And the director and one of the actors decided they wanted to be writing partners. And I was working on Son-in-Law, and it was like fast. They wanted it fast. And I was like, look, you guys, why don't you guys write the jokes and I'll write the structure? Because they hadn't had a professional writing like gig yet. And they were like, yeah, that's great. We'll do that. And 24 hours later, I was fired off the movie because they told my executive all the things that were wrong with it.
Oh.
And they were my friends. So that was heartbreaking. It was traumatic and it was heartbreaking. And they also got fired and brought me back on.
So the very people that were responsible for getting you fired by complaining about the quality of whatever it was you were working on eventually got fired themselves.
Yeah, because they hadn't written, movie before. They didn't know. They
And
were
they brought you
just,
back.
yeah, they were really ambitious and they hurt me. I
Yeah.
haven't talked to them since. It was a big loss for me at that point in my life. Because, it's like you don't have any money and you are struggling. And all of a sudden, when you're ready for it, the door opens and you walk through it and your lifestyle changes. And instead of living in a shitty apartment in the Russian part of town, you're living in a much cooler apartment in the hipster part of town.
Mm.
I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you've been struggling for 10 years, it's a big deal. And they were immoral. I don't know what to say. That was just immoral. And I've been hurt a few times that deeply. Only a few. Mostly in relationships. But what these two guys did was unbelievably wrong. And I was unbelievably shocked.
And it comes across really clearly, Sean, that in your value system, loyalty, respect, honesty are very, very important things. Everyone nominates those three things as important in their value system, but most people don't live it. They are important to you, though, right?
Very.
Mm.
They're very
Yeah.
important to me in terms of people I do business with and in terms of my friends. But the people that stay your friends and remain in touch and you help each other with your pilots, or they'll read my pilot and give me notes and I'll read theirs and we have lunch, and those are, treasured. They're treasured friends.
What are you working on these days, Sean? Besides trying to find, what's her name again? Catherine McMillan?
Catherine McMillan is what I'm working on.
We're working on you, Catherine McMillan.
Yeah, Catherine McMillan. Anyone who knows her, she is involved with the show.
She is Sean's destiny. She's Sean's future.
Aftertaste. We had a Writers Guild strike out here.
Yep.
And they're never good. The last Writer Guild strike, I lost a project at HBO and one at Lifetime. This Writer Guild strike, I had a project that I loved with the studio called ITV and producers. And we were just about to pitch it, and the writer's strike happened. So my project went away.
It is
After
a fickle world, isn't
developing
it?
it for a year and a half.
Sean, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for taking the time to take us through your career. I love the fact that you're still so creative and still inspired and still looking for the next project. That's fantastic.
Well, if Catherine McMillan or Rachel Griffith don't get back to me, I may write a horror movie about my mother.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
It will just write itself by the sounds of it.
It might. I don't know if I'd have to really add anything extra except maybe some supernatural shit,
Oh, I love it. It sounds really great. Sean, I hope you've had fun here in the fortress of pop culture.
I have had so much fun with you, and I appreciate you getting a hold of me. That was really sweet.
And thank you again. I'm going to go back to touching my feet now, if it's all right with you.
Yeah, go feel your feet.
It's a brand new love affair in my life.
You know what? You gotta have one.
See you, Sean.
All right, take care.
No, I will not have a nice day.